Good morning, everyone. Welcome. My name is Menachem Creditor. It's my honor to serve as scholar in residence and rabbi for UJ Federation of New York. We bring you Torah and music, blessing, and community every weekday. We've been doing so since March 18th, 2020. Today is Thursday, March 7th, 2024. It's broadcast 1008. Since we began this community just about 4 years ago, bringing together people from all over the world to come together, to learn together, to find each other, and to be just a little bit more inspired. It is an extraordinary thing to have created this community with all of you from all over the world. It's good to see all of you. Today is also day 153 of the war between Israel and Hamas. After the terrible attacks of October 7th, we carry our people in our hearts, on our shoulders, and we show up for each other. Torah, in service of our people and the world, has been our mandate, and we have fulfilled it with real passion these last 153 days as our people fight for our lives, as our children on campus learn lessons we thought that we had consigned to the past. There's a lot going on, but let's begin by showing each other some love, by saying hello to each other by name. Penny, it's good to see you. Thank you, as ever, for keeping count. It is broadcast 1008. Helen and Barry, Jacqueline and Dale, good morning. Jerry, good to see you. Sorry you're not teaching today, but what a delight to have you in person. Helen and Debbie sending love to Colorado. Anya, Amy, Keith, and April, Lydia and Carl, good morning. Ron and Arlene, hi. Hope that you are well. Rosa and Blair, Natalie and Cecile, Hineni. I'm here too. So glad you are. Susan and Lisa, Barbara and Robin, Boker Tov. All right, if I've missed anyone, please forgive me. Marilyn, I see that there's a Mazel Tov coming your way. Give me 1 second, friends. Just had to take care of something that appeared somewhere on our Facebook page. Marilyn, today your granddaughter is getting married. All right, today's Torah, Marilyn, is in honor of your family, in honor of your granddaughter. Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. So nice. And yes, Carl, I am back in my living room. It's a sweet place to be, especially because my son is home from college visiting. So, what a delight to explore the rest of my house because we get to have our boy back. Okay, let's begin with a blessing for learning. Let's learn some Torah, and then let's make today a better day. Here we go. במצוותיו וציוונו לעסוק בדברי תורה, לעסוק בדברי תורה, הפוך בה והפוך בה, לעסוק בדברי תורה. Good morning, everybody. Okay, let's learn some Torah. And today I'll be sharing a midrash that, it reflects an older way of looking at the world, and older meaning um, ancient. And so there are parts of this midrash that we never would have written today. Along gender lines, it's problematic, but what it wants to say is something quite extraordinary and beautiful. So I share it with you because A, it's part of the sacred canon. B, it's a way to make a very dry parsha a little bit less dry. And also because I think that there's a way to redeem it. So let's review where we are. First of all, let's wish a happy birthday, Valerie, to your daughter upon her 15th birthday. Um, and you buried your mother on her first birthday. What a powerful, what a powerful combined memory. May your daughter's birthday be joyful, and may your heart be strong, comforted, and joyful too. All right, friends. Parshat Vayakhel that we've been learning this week is concerned with the construction of the temple, the Mishkan, the portable tabernacle that we built in the desert while we were there. It is an extraordinarily complicated edifice. It has the most precious materials in the ancient world. As part of its construction, we learn a lot about how to build. We learn a lot about how to trust. We learn a lot about how to explore art in the world, and also what a willing heart can do. The text says that God commanded that everyone with willing hearts would donate these materials, and it turns out they gave too much. They gave too much, so Moshe had to tell the people to stop. It's fascinating in all of these ways. There's a facet of this that is in the Midrash. So let me first point that the Torah says that among the furnishings for the Mishkan was the laver, and that's the sink. Often we don't know what that means because when you go to shul, there isn't a sink. But it is, if you go to a church, especially a Roman Orthodox church or Greek Orthodox, you'll find there's a sink for washing before you go in, and we know about washing before doing mitzvot sometimes, like we wash before we have bread, before we have motzi. Some people do that only on Shabbat, but the tradition actually is to do it every time we're going to have bread. All of this is to say that there was a sink that was part of the construction of the Mishkan. Before the priest would go to offer the sacrifice, they needed to wash their hands. So, this is a midrash. The sink was actually made from something special. So let me tell you a story. This is the story, and it's not a trigger warning story, but it is the kind of story that you know was written by men thousands of years ago. It's not dehumanizing, but it is. You'll know where our hearts are and where our perspective has changed as I tell this story. But I hope that you allow it in as a delight for us to think about and obviously react to and respond to, but to learn from. This is one of those that we wouldn't write today, but still could teach us something. So here's the midrash. When we were slaves in Egypt, and Pharaoh doubled down on the labor that the men had to do, and that's typically how it's understood in the Torah, that the men had to not only build the palaces, they then had to create their own bricks out of the mud and the Nile, and it was so exhausting that, and this is in the Midrash, that the Israelite men would do the work they were forced to do, and then be too tired to go home. They'd be too tired to go home, so they would literally just collapse and fall asleep where they were working. So the Israelite women knew that if this were allowed to continue, this would be the end of our people, because there'd be no babies. So the Israelite women took mirrors and beautified themselves, says the Midrash. Again, this is where you and I would write it differently. Beautified themselves. And then they went down to the fields where their husbands were exhausted and said, "You're so pretty. And their husbands would say back to them, "You're so pretty." And that's how they would flirt together. The Midrash talks about flirting and a way that we ensure the survival of our people by finding delight even in extraordinarily difficult times. And the Midrash says that the sink for the tabernacle was made from the mirrors that the women used to save our people, to bring us all back to life. And I wanted to share that today for a number of reasons. Number one, because the world is extraordinarily difficult, and because it isn't the first time in our history, biblical, rabbinic, and modern, that we have faced enormous tribulation. And there is reason for being tired. It's fair. But isn't it an interesting midrash told by the rabbis about how we saved our lives, how the women in our lives saved our people? Now, obviously, the rabbis could have only conceived of one kind of relationship. We are blessed. We are blessed to be able to conceive of many kinds of relationships. But it is very powerful to see that when we were so exhausted to our bones, we were still finding delight. And that brought us back to life. So I wanted to ask you to do something today, joyful, something to bring you back to life. Find light, as Lydia just said. We are awesome and blessed, and that's true. There needs to be, I think, a reminder in our lives, and Torah can serve as this, that there is joy to be found. It's hard. These are hard moments. That's not a question. But I would ask us, in honor of the women of our history, during Women's History Month, during a month that we are fighting for Israeli women and Jewish women to be believed and heard, to recognize that without affirming life and finding delight, the story doesn't go on. So I'd invite you to find something delightful today and let it in. And let it in. So, find something joyful. Smile a little bit today. Find your smile. Look in the mirror. You're beautiful. Pardon me for saying it just the way the Midrash did. You're so pretty. We're so pretty. Isn't that nice? It's so true. The Midrash can speak to us right now. We're so pretty. Okay. So, let's take a second, even in that sweetness, let's also pray for our family. Send them some delight too, somehow. Bring them home now. Let's sing. Kolon baleva pnima nefesh Yehudi homia ulefate mizrach kadima ayin letzion tzofia od lo avda tikvateinu hatikva bat shnot alpayim liot am chofshi be'artzeinu eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim liot am chofshi be'artzeinu eretz Zion v'Yerushalayim. Bring them home now. Am Yisrael Chai. See you tomorrow, friends. Take care.